A little bit of an agenda. We're going to introduce Smartcat, a little bit about where we come from, what space we play in, and how we can help. We're then going to follow that with a demonstration of our translation software, followed by multilingual video dubbing and subtitling. And then we're going to wrap it all together by showing you how you can create a course within a snap. Where I want to start is that we are an essential our mission is to become the essential language AI platform for global enterprises. And really, I wanted to share with you guys that we have been around for quite some time, 2016, and we are very well trusted by many companies. 20% of the Fortune 500 use Smartcat on a day-to-day basis to translate all of their content and technical documentation, legal, learning. We do it all. We are also rated very high on G2. You can see a 9.6 for ease of setup and a 9.3 for ease of use. So really what we really try to aim for is a product that you can use very user-friendly, and the UI UX is very friendly for your guys' end users. The last thing I want to talk about here is really we're a leader in this space. We came onto the scene as a very disruptive technology in the AI space. And we are disrupting a traditional kind of way of doing things. Many of companies were utilizing agencies, and to present an AI solution was challenged at first. And we have made so much progress. We are now the leader for enterprise translation software. And we are also very well trusted from a security standpoint, worth mentioning, because I know some people are a little bit frightened by AI in their organizations. We are SOC 2 compliant, and ultimately we are able to overcome any of those security needs. Okay, I'm going to talk a bit about the value of Smartcat. Really, there's a couple of different ways that we add value to an organization. The first is you guys mentioned that you are translating already. You know that there are some challenges that are associated with that. A lot of that has to do with the workflow. You get a project, it needs to be translated, you send it over to an agency, and now all of a sudden it's in a black box. You don't really have any idea of what's going on the other side. And you are up against timelines and people asking you questions about what's going on with that project, and ultimately you don't have answers. That's where Smartcat comes into play. We are a DIY application. We have unlimited seat users. And ultimately, we want to get people into our system utilizing it because it provides a strong workflow for you. You can see every single project that's in it, where those projects are at, and ultimately be able to drive accountability within your organization as well as anybody externally that you're using. And that really gives you the keys back to the driver's seat. The second is with quality. With AI, what we see often is that it's learning over time, right? So as you go in and you make those edits and you tell the system, this is how I want something translated, we're going to remember that. And so over time, as you come across that again, ultimately the system is going to automatically put in those translations for you so that you do not have to go in there and continue to confirm the same things over and over again. And so over time, the quality of translation goes up through the roof as you're continuously going in and confirming those translations. Lastly, I do want to note that we are an unbeatable cost savings. If you are currently spending through agency, you know how expensive that is. And ultimately, it does limit a lot of organizations as to what exactly they can translate and what they can't. And so what we would like to say is that we award people the opportunity to translate at scale. There's a lot of things that companies do want to translate and can't because it's so expensive. We have made that so that it's a fraction of the cost of traditional outsourcing and ultimately giving you the keys to be able to do more. All right, so here's how this is going to go. I'm going to hand over to Sonia. She's going to talk about AI translations with human editing. We'll have another presenter that will talk about the dubbing, and then all finish with course creation. Over to you, Sonia.
Sounds great. Thank you, Danny. Yeah, I'm excited to show you all what it's like to translate using our platform. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and show you really what that process looks like for translating, in this instance, a course that you might have created, but just know that the same process holds true for PowerPoints, PDFs, and hundreds of other formats like that on the screen. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So just to kind of give you all that context, this is the course that I'm going to be translating today. And this one is built in Rise, but just know it works very similarly, whether that's built in Rise or any other course creation platform. And I know you all put so much effort into making sure your course has great value with a bunch of different elements, including quizzes, flashcards, videos, and all of that. And what we really thrive to do, or strive to do, I should say, at Smartcat is make it easy for you to take that content, maybe that was built in English and known to everyone what like formatting without that redundancy of copying and pasting content or you know, having to email people back and forth to get those translations process file, which is a file format specifically targeted towards local. And now I'll hop into Smartcat and show you how that translation process works. For those of you who haven't seen Smartcat before, welcome to the platform. This is really going to be, like Danny mentioned, the centralized platform for you to complete all those translation steps. So whether that's, like I mentioned, communication between the people who are managing the translation and actually doing the translation, being able to track all those projects you want to have translated, and really just getting that full transparency and control over your translations. And that's where this is going to occur. So in this demo, I'm going to go ahead and translate that file. We'll start off by creating a project, and I'll call this, XLIFF demo 123. You're able to set a deadline to really make sure that everyone working on the project knows exactly when you need this turned around by. And with the clients I've spoken to, in most cases, it takes them months, 2-3 months, maybe a month, maybe a few weeks if they're lucky to get those courses turned around. Within Smartcat, because we're leveraging AI, that process, we can really see these documents turned around in a matter of days, not hours, depending. So I'll set the deadline for Thursday. You're also able to choose any source and target languages you want this translated into. So I saw in the survey you guys all put, you're translating anywhere from 1 to, I saw some people put 11 plus languages. Our platform gives you the option to choose as many languages as you want, including dialects. So I know there is a law being passed in Canada to have all your content translated into French. So we support dialects like French Canadian. And then the last step that I want to talk about, which really hones into this process of speeding up translation, giving you that higher quality, is this two-step process of AI translation, where we're going to put everything through AI initially, making sure we give a pretty good translation off the bat. But then knowing that AI is great, it's not perfect. You're going to want to have a human to come in there, do that reviewing for company-specific terms, maybe more technical terms, to make sure that is 100% quality, like the course you created in the first place. So I'll go ahead and create that project. And now it really is as simple as dragging and dropping those files. So if I take that XLIFF file I downloaded from the course, pop that in there, what we're going to do is run this through our AI. So we're extracting all the text, we're going to prepare the file for translation, and then actually leverage multiple engines to give you that highest quality. So we're going to be looking at the source language and the target language to give you the highest quality off that. And the first time we put a document in, the translation is going to be good. But as Danny mentioned, we're going to continually grow and learn from how you edit things. So in the future, maybe the 17th course you translate, it's going to have that even better initial translation. It always says 10 minutes. I think it's a little dramatic. It should only take a few moments here. But while that loads, I'm going to talk about the next step, which is inviting a human to complete that review. So like we've mentioned, right, AI is great. It's not perfect. So you always have the ability to invite a human to complete that review for you. And say you have someone internally who, I think I chose Spanish, speaks Spanish, and has the bandwidth to help you out there. You can always invite them, as part of your team, or if you want to send them an email or a link, that's possible as well, to just get them into the platform and complete that review for you. But let's say you don't have someone who speaks a language, or maybe doesn't have the bandwidth today to help you out with that translation. We do actually offer a marketplace of about 500,000 people on our platform who are ready and willing to help you out with all of your translation needs. So you get full transparency into who they are. So instead of throwing your document over the fence, hoping for the best, hoping that person is going to understand really your business needs. You can see exactly who they are, who they've worked with, the amount of words they've processed, what their specialties are in terms of translation, and actually communicate with them directly to let them know things like brand and tone of voice. So let's say, I invited myself to complete the translation and I don't speak Spanish, but let's just say I did. We'll be able to hop into the editor. But one thing I do want to show before is that for all the files you're going to run through our AI, we're also going to give you a translation quality score, which appears here on the right, which I like to think of as like a third-party AI that's assessing how we think we did. So in this case, it's pretty good. 98 is a very high assessment. It normally sits around, I don't know, 80 to 90%, meaning that we think we did a great job, but there's about 10% that we definitely think a human should take a look at. And we are pretty stringent on how we grade. So 98 is a great score to grab. If I hop into the file and kind of show you under the hood of what your file is going to look at within Smartcat, you're going to see our English content on the left, and then the translated content on the right, in this case, French. And as a reviewer, as someone who speaks the language, whether you hired them or they're somebody internally, they'll be able to make any edits or changes they need, in this case, 5 exclamation points. As a project manager, you get full review into the revisions that are being made. You can leave segment and document comments to really streamline that communication. So again, it's not emails that are getting lost in the ether, but rather all centralized within the platform, whether that's linguists who have a question about a term or you kind of giving notes on tone and brand. The two most important things about this platform that I do want to mention is kind of the learning aspect. So as a reviewer, if I go through and press these little check marks, we're going to be able to actually save these corrected translations into what we call as a repository of translation memories. So previously reviewed translations that have been confirmed to be true by a human, so that the next time you upload a course, maybe it has the same opening sentence or paragraph, maybe an entire module is exactly the same. Instead of relying on just that straight AI translation, which is good, we're going to actually pull from what you already corrected and automatically insert that in here. What that's really going to mean for you is, of course, a lower cost if you're actually hiring someone because it's less words to look at, a quicker turnaround time because they shouldn't have to do duplicative work if they've already reviewed sentences. But most importantly is that consistency across modules, courses, PDFs, PowerPoint, so that your brand tone, your image, all of that is staying the same. And finally, if you do have those really important key terms and phrases that need to be, translated in a very specific way, or maybe not translated at all, we can also build out a sort of glossary for you to use that will automatically insert and pull those terms every time you translate a document. All that being said, let's say, I speak French and I completed this translation. You're able to simply download that resulting file. I'll pop right back into my Rise course, head over into the settings, and import that translated text, choosing that French Canadian one that I just created. And you can see here, all of the translation, including those exclamation points I added, were automatically put into this course. And to show you how that formatting looks is, it's all maintained, whether that is, I think we have an accordion down here. There's no need to do any reformatting. If we have these, flashcards that go by or a quiz at the very bottom, all of that is going to be maintained in whatever language so that it's kind of ready to go and be spread across all your regions and to all your employees. I hope that was helpful. Of course, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat, as I've seen you've all been doing. But without much going on, let's pass it back to Danny.
All right, perfect. So Suwon is going to be discussing AI dubbing and subtitling of videos. What we have realized through our journey is that as we began into translating documents and courses, there became this just overwhelmingly large need to also translate and subtitle videos. And so we made a huge investment into this, and Suwon's going to actually show that to you. So over to you, Suwon.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Sonia. So yeah, like Danny said, I'm super excited to show you about AI dubbing and subtitling. It's probably one of the areas that my clients experience the most cost savings. because of how expensive and time consuming it is to translate a video on a traditional agency. So without further ado, let me take you to my demo screen here on the right side. Perfect. So this will look very similar to what you're going to be seeing when you log into Smartcat. And just like Sonia showed, we're going to go first into this templates view. And when I click on this little drop down, you get a few different options, but to translate a video, we're going to click a button called Translate Video. And then the first thing that you'll do is choose a file language. So that is the language of the video that you're going to be uploading. So the video that I'm uploading is in English, so I'm just going to choose English. And then I'm going to tap or drag and drop a video of my choice. I'm going to be dropping a very short video from my desktop. When you upload it, the first thing that it's going to be doing is not only upload, but also transcribe the video for you at the same time. Depending on the size of the video, it'll take anywhere from a few seconds to a couple minutes. And then we're going to see how we can translate and edit the video as well. And I think I saw a question in the question section before coming in here, asking about if the formatting is kept. So after you transcribe the video, when you translate this over, yes, the formatting should be kept the same into the translated language. So as you can see, the first thing that it did was take the video, an MP4 raw English video, and then transcribe it. And you are able to
Hey guys, I am going to show you how
and see how the English closed
to
captioning
tie your
shows
shoes
as well.
using the bunny ear method. First, you want to
You're able to play it holistically as a full video, or you're able to also go segment by segment as well. And then see what you like, what you don't like. If there is a punctuation error or something, you're also able to edit the transcription as well. You're able to create line breaks or even split it by the line breaks that you created. If you don't like how you see it on the video, you're also able to merge it with a previous or a next segment that you see, or insert one before or after to edit in extra space for the closed captioning that you created. And assuming that you went through the video and like how the English transcription looks, now it's time to translate into the language of your choice. And that is simply done by clicking on this Translate Video button or Translate button. I'm just going to choose Spanish because it's one of the most common languages that we translate into, and then click Translate. And you'll notice that the segments are kept the same. And you're also able to edit it the same way. So you can insert before or after, edit it directly, or you're also even able to hear the voiceover example. So I'll play one for our example. It might be taking a while. It shouldn't take that long, but we'll give that a minute to load. But you're able to edit this just like the English closed captioning to your liking. You have multiple voices that you can choose from. I always think Dami kind of sounds like a news reporter. So I can play that as well. And you'll notice how the subtitles show here as well.
using the bunny ear method.
When you're ready to get the dubbing going and have the subtitles to your liking, you're able to click on this dub video. But before you do that, just make sure that you have the subtitles to your liking. If you have people from your team that you want to invite over, you can click on this invite button. If you've added them to your team from Smartcat in general, you're able to just click their name here. If not, you can send them an email while still having the ability to control access. So if you just want them to have the access to this specific video and project, you can invite them over as a linguist. If you want them as a teammate, that means they can work on the workspaces as well. But just depending on what you would like to grant, you can choose that, type their email, and it'll shoot an email out to them. So let's just click dub video here. So you'll notice this is just a short video, so it's done it already. So I'm just going to play that video.
Hola chicos, les voy a mostrar cómo atarse los zapatos utilizando el método de orejas de conejo. Primero de...
From what I heard from my clients, it sounds pretty human, not as robotic as some of the AI dubbing out there. But please We welcome feedback, so let us know. And when you're done with all of this, you've invited the right people, you've edited the subtitles and the English closed captioning and of the video, where you're going to be able to locate this is when I go back out to my homepage. There's a section called Drive that can be found on the left side here or on the apps on the main page. And what it's going to do is it's going to automatically organize the video for you by the date that it was created. So 2024, October 22nd is today. And you'll notice all the files live here that you're able to go back in or even download. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll keep an eye out. But other than that, let me pass it over to Danny.
Awesome. Thank you, Suwon. Really exciting stuff. We know that it answers a lot of challenges, and so we're really excited to continue to press into the AI dubbing and subtitling. All right. Now I'm really excited to share with you guys. I know a lot of you guys are in the L&D space, and ultimately what we continue to hear over and over is that you guys are being overwhelmed with more and more stuff and less time to do it. And so ultimately we went to the drawing board as an organization, and we tried to figure out how we could buy you guys back time in the course creation process. And so we've utilized AI heavily, and we've come up with quite a solid solution I'm excited to share with you. It is called AI content creation, specifically for learning folks. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and step into Drive, as Suwon just shared about. You can think of this place as a kind of a catch-all for all of your learning content. Once I'm in there, I can go ahead and click New, and I'm going to go ahead and click a new course. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to create a course on the fly. I have kind of some pre-populated prompts that I'm going to give it, but this is natural language processing, so you do not have to be a prompt engineer in order to prompt our system. Ultimately, what will the course be about? Describe course participants and their goals, and what knowledge is required. You can talk to it like you're talking to a human. So in this example, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to build a course around building essential skills to manage remote and hybrid teams. Seems fairly relevant still. And the course participants and their goals are going to be enterprise managers that are already leading teams in different countries, continents, and time zones, and they want to accelerate the performance. So there's the goal of these teams, despite the fact that they are physically separated. And then who or what knowledge is required? We are going to require that this is an experienced manager who already knows how to hire, train, and motivate and lead cross-functional teams. We're just going to help them drive that performance piece. Some of our secret sauce here really is this ability to take proprietary information that you already have built on this course and drag and drop it into the system and have the system really consider highly. Oh, sorry about that. Let's see. Right on. So as we drag and drop a PDF or a PowerPoint or a doc into this, we're going to have this highly considered into the actual course creation process. I'm a little bit nervous to press on that same button to pull up that PDF again, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that, but just know that this is really the secret sauce of this. Another huge piece of this is the ability to create in multiple different languages. We do come from that translation space, so ultimately the ability to create in multiple different languages is key. And why not do it during the build versus go back and do it from the beginning? We do have a couple of different means that we can build in. One of those being micro learning, and another being kind of a pre-recorded course. Okay, think onboarding, think a little bit more structured sales training. You're also able to utilize that in weeks and amount of time that's associated with it. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and create a 60-minute micro learning. Once we have all of that figured, we're going to go ahead and have AI do what AI does. And it's going to create a course title for us and a course description. Actually, it's already done. So as I mentioned, In a Snap is a real thing for us. So here you're going to see the course title, Leading Across Borders, Mastering Remote and Hybrid Team Management. Say I don't want that. Maybe it's a little formal. I can actually prompt the AI to make that less formal. And not only will it consider it here in the title, but it will also consider it through the duration of the remainder of the course. So highly considering the AI prompts. The course creation, maybe it's a little bit lengthy. Maybe I want to delete a whole sentence. I have the ability to come in here and manually override anything that I want. We really do want you guys to have the utmost amount of flexibility as you're building this. And worth mentioning here, we are not trying to replace jobs. We're not trying to cut out people here. We are really trying to gain some efficiency and give you guys back time. And so the idea here is if we could help you create things that take mental mind space and take a lot of time to come up with and create, if we can help you get there faster, that is our objective. Once we have the course title and description set, we can go ahead and step into generate learning outcomes. Okay, so you can see it happened very quickly. Again, this is only a 60-minute course, so a little bit light. If this was a longer course, weeks, maybe even a couple of months, you're going to have very much a longer learning outcomes here. What I wanted to share with you guys is that you can reorganize these. You can add additional learning outcomes, and you also have the ability, again, to utilize AI to regen or to really reconsider the way that the learning outcome is read. Once we're happy with this structure, we can go on to the next and generate that second level. And ultimately, this is us really wanting to squeeze the most amount of juice possible out of these learning outcomes. And that happened pretty quick as well. Now, what you can see here is that we're going to go ahead and label this. You'll see this later on where we're actually pointing back to these specific sub-learning outcomes in the actual content creation itself. Once this is set, we can go ahead and build the outline. The outline you can think of as what is the actual substance of these different learning outcomes. And so as you can see here, there's different icons. We have many different things that we can build utilizing AI, and I'll show you that as soon as it loads here. But ultimately, videos and accordions and flashcards and quizzes, all of the different things that are really important to you guys content-wise, we have the ability to help you build those via AI. So once we have the hierarchy in place, we can go ahead and we can step into content. This is going to be us building these different pieces utilizing AI. So in this example here, we're going to start with a video, 1 minute duration to kind of set the tone. We're going to have AI build those key points for us. It's going to build the script, then it's going to write it, and then it's going to build it in and burn it in. So again, fully customizable. We can delete as we want. Let's go ahead and generate that script. And once the script is built, I'm going to go ahead and kind of move over and show you what an actual video would look like, as it does take just a minute to create. But if I wanted to, I can attach my own video here. I can also generate the video from this script. All right, let's take a look at what a video actually looks like here within the platform. So this is one that AI built.
Hello everyone. Today we're exploring trust cultivation techniques to enhance our proficiency in leading hybrid teams. Trust is the linchpin of effective.
All right, so we have also the ability to create many different other things here, including accordions, just some reading standards and quizzes. I'll show you what those look like as well. So here's a quick reading that AI built for us. And this is really around the concept of reliability, openness, and competence. We also have the ability for some flashcards, accordion, and a quiz. Oh, got it wrong. My bad. So as you can see here, this is pretty fascinating. It does really allow us to give you back some time And I wanted to show you what the actual course looks like here as it's completed. Some of you may think that this looks a little familiar. We did want to build familiarity into the platform. And so ultimately, this should look like something that you may have used before. We do have the ability to customize as you come in here. We can change that course cover to a different image. We can change the color as well. And we can kind of choose some of the navigations as well to it as well. All right, I see the chat blowing up, so I'm hoping that I'm hitting on something good here. We do have the ability, once that's built, to export via SCORM. And ultimately, we can have you just drag and drop that right into your LMS. So we just built a course in extremely fast. And ultimately, we want to continue to accelerate the pace at which we're helping you guys gain back some of that time that it takes in order to build courses, as we know that it's painful sometimes. All right. Well, I want to just make sure that we have all questions answered. So if you don't mind, go ahead and continue to drop those questions inside of the chat. My team will continue to monitor. If this really spiked your curiosity, if you're in the market for solving this challenge and pain of translation and or creating courses quicker, or AI dubbing and subtitling, we would love to schedule some time with you. This is a direct link to my calendar. I will make sure that I have the right people on the call when we get to meet with you.
I can answer Munsen's question about, how you're able to share this with SMEs or people wanting to review it. And I just want to note that Smartcat is an open seat platform. We're not going to charge you for every individual you coming in. So invite them all in, even if they're only taking a look for 5 minutes or actually wanting to build a full course out for you. You can always invite them in and they get access to exactly what Danny just showed you and ability to edit and change as well. And as soon as you're done with the course and think it looks great, you can export that as a SCORM file. And then we're working on building out other file types like XAPI to be inputted into your LMS.
Our translation reviewers have trouble reviewing a translated transcript. They really do need to see it in the context within the e-learning course. Do you have any solutions for that? Sonia is responding to that right now. Awesome. What do we get from Smartcat that we wouldn't get using Articulate AI? Definitely the language piece is huge. We have many Articulate's customers that come to us and really need us to translate those XLIFF files for them. So the ability to create courses in native languages right from the get-go is huge. We also see a lot in the content side of things, and as well as the structure of it. Learning outcomes, flexibility in the structure and the learning outcomes is probably where we're differentiating the most against Articulate's AI currently. How is cost calculated? Great question, David. We are a consumption-based model. And so ultimately what that means is we allow people to buy a certain amount of smart words is what we call them. And from that, we want to make sure that it's the amount that you need, and versus that would probably be a great way to differentiate us versus Articulate as well, is we don't care how many people you have in the platform. We're an unlimited user base, so you can have as many people in there building and translating as you want. We're just going to sell you the amount of words that you need translated. And so smart words is defined by anything that AI uses to either translate or to build utilizing AI. What is a typical cost for a program? David, not to be just like wanting to get a meeting with you, but those are some pretty depthy questions around cost. I would love to like build that out with you personally. So if you want to schedule some time with me, I think it would make sense. There's a lot of just questions that I need to ask in order to really be able to add any value to that question.